Hi there, my name is Tatiana and you're watching YouTube channel You Can. Today is May 1, 2024 and today's video is about herbal vinegars. To make an herbal vinegar, you will need the herb, which I am going to be using oregano from my garden today. Vinegar, apple cider vinegar, that is 5% acidity or higher, a glass jar, and a non-reactive lid. I have a plastic lid that has a rubber seal thing on the inside, and I'm using just a regular canning jar. The reason why you don't want to use a plastic jar is because vinegar tends to break down plastic over time, and depending on what kind of herb you're using, it may potentially react with the plastic. So the safest route to go is either use glass or ceramic if you have ceramic jars. So welcome to my patch of oregano. So when you're making herbal vinegars, the idea is that the vinegar helps extract the goodness of the herb, the aromatics, the minerals, the vitamins, and other different components that the plant has. And it provides you a very good way to use the herb in your everyday culinary uses. For example, we like to use oregano vinegar on like a sprinkle on salad. You can add it to stir fries to add the oregano flavor and a little bit of that vinegary sourness. But the idea when you're making the herbal vinegars is to put the herb into the jar in small pieces. So you don't want to take like an entire piece of like this and just stuff it into the jar, because the more kind of smaller pieces you have of the herb, the easier it is for the vinegar to actually go in and extract the goodness from the herb. Herbal vinegars can be made both out of dry and out of fresh herb. Now, when you're using dry herb, obviously the water has been dehydrated out of the herb, so you don't have to use as much herb to get the flavor as when you're using fresh herb. You have to use more herb to vinegar ratio to give you that robust flavor. So because I'm using fresh oregano, I am going to fill this jar up pretty much to the top before I fill it up with vinegar. So oregano is a very easy herb to grow. It has a spreading growth habit, so it does take over areas of space where you plant it, but overall it does not need any kind of special care. This patch has been growing here for probably 5 years now, and I haven't really done anything with it besides pick it and kind of go through and take these old stalks out in the spring. But other than that, it does not require any kind of care. But the blooms that it produces in the summer are absolutely amazing. It's usually buzzing with all kinds of insects. So if you're looking for a good pollinator herb that you can plant in your garden to attract various pollinators, oregano is definitely one of them. It has oodles of insects on it when it's blooming. So I have this jar loosely filled with oregano up to the top. And the reason why you don't want to pack down the herb is because you want the vinegar to actually go through and really envelop every little part of the herb in order to extract the goodness from it. So now it's time to pour in the vinegar. All right, so now it's time to pour the vinegar in. And like I had mentioned before, you want to use a vinegar that's 5% acidity or higher. And I use raw apple cider vinegar because I like raw apple cider vinegar. You can use pasteurized if you like. But basically what I'm doing is I'm just pouring the vinegar in. I don't want those little floaties to be in there. And I like to use a chopstick, and I'll just go in there and I will make sure that I stirred everything really well and push those herbs down into the vinegar. So I could fill this jar to the top with vinegar, but I don't want to because I want to have a stronger oregano flavor in the vinegar. Also, I could have used a smaller jar, but I didn't have one on hand at the moment, so that's why I'm using this big quart canning jar, and I'm just, you know, filling it halfway with vinegar. And I'm just gonna make sure that the herbs stay down in the vinegar. Well, I push them down with the chopstick. So now that I have them in here, the key to remember is to give it a good shake every day, a couple times a day, just to make sure that that herb is submerged in the vinegar, and keep it out of direct sunlight. And it takes between 1 to 4 weeks for the vinegar to actually infuse with the herb. And it's great to try it on the process of infusion. So like try the vinegar in a couple days of infusion, and then try again in a week, and then again in 2 weeks. And once your vinegar gets to the taste, to the flavor that you like, then you basically just strain the herb off and label your vinegar and use it as you desire. Labeling is extremely important because after a couple weeks, you won't know what date you put this in here and how long it's been infusing, and you might forget what the herb was. Anyway, so labeling is always a very important part of the process. So what I use here is crafter's tape, and I just fold that side down so that it's like a tab, and it's easier to take off of the jar then once I don't need it there. But I will write down what this is. This is oregano with apple cider vinegar, and today's date is May 1, 2024. And I will just put that right here on my jar. And that is it. So once this has infused and I pour it from this jar into my container that I will store it in, I will just take this because of the folded over tab, and I'll be able to take it off very easy. Have you ever made herbal vinegars, or is it a new sphere for you? Would you like to find out some more info on herbal vinegars and how to make them? If you do, drop a comment below. Thanks for watching the video. If you liked it, hit a like and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this.